Hey guys, today I am working on a rental property. It was trashed, and then we just have some things that are old that need to be updated as well. So in this case, this house had this old intake vent. This is the intake for the furnace on the wall. It's pretty beat up, it's pretty dirty. Sometimes I clean these off and I'll spray paint them, but sometimes they're so mangled and damaged that it's just not worth doing that. So this is a case where it's got a lot of wear in it. It's been kicked a few times. A handful of things I think have been kicked in this house. So I can't find a replacement this size at my Home Depot. I'm sure I could find one online, but I couldn't find one just in stock and easy to grab. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a few pieces of scrap wood. I think they're long enough. Okay, cool, yes, I was not sure. So I have this, this wood that I have left over from when I built a cabinet for another property, and then I have a skinnier piece I'm gonna put on the bottom, and then I got this metal mesh. It's aluminum sheet and it's got a little pattern cut in it. So I need obviously air to be able to flow in there. So we're gonna make just a prettier intake vent, which is nice, but also it can just be custom to the size that I need. Keep in mind, if you are doing an intake vent, which if it's an older home, sometimes they're like in the floor. I have one property where it's on the floor in the hallway. You need a structural, it's a different type of vent that you can walk on and it can take weight. So this is just a vent for a wall or a ceiling or somewhere that you're not gonna walk on. So just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and let's build a vent that is not ugly and fits our space exactly. First thing I'm gonna do is build my framing, and then we'll staple or attach the mesh on the inside after we paint our exterior piece. But you have a couple, sometimes it's easier instead of measuring just to draw lines, like the size you want something to be. So in this case, I have a little bit of an imperfection where this came off and it damaged the drywall. So we can either patch that or we can cover it up. We'll see if we have the length, because what I don't know, I could have got a much bigger sheet of this, but then I'm cutting off and throwing a lot of it away. I'm gonna cut the height of this, but I'm just figuring out if I do, because you wanna have some overlap so you have some strength to it, right? So we're gonna have to do a little bit of drywall repair, which is okay. So what I'm saying is, say this is the end of my mesh. I don't wanna just have my mesh overhang my wood by like 1/4 of an inch or something, because then it's not gonna have as much support behind it. I wanna maybe have like, you know, maybe a good inch overlapping my wood or whatever, you know, so just factor in what you're comfortable with, because otherwise in this middle section, I'll have a bottom piece, but then that middle section doesn't have any support unless you put like a middle bow support, which I may have to do, we'll see. And so anyway, yeah, I wanna make sure I overlap enough where I can attach it nicely to the frame that I'm gonna build. So I have my length. But you have a couple ways to build this. So the simplest way is just to stack it like that. But that's not gonna look as nice unless you're gonna fill those gaps and wood fill and whatever, which I'm not gonna do. So I'm gonna miter it. So this is my longest side, but then this is gonna be a miter, this is gonna be a miter going down to my 2 side pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to make sure these are exactly the same size. All right, cool. Then I'm gonna go cut my miter, and then I'm gonna figure out how tall I want this to be, and then I'll cut my 2 side pieces. So I'll cut my 2 45s. All right, there we go. So that can be that end piece right there. I'm kind of just laying it out on the floor to see like what my overlap looks like on my netting, and then I have to measure to see how tall I want it to be. So I'm gonna grab a tape measure, and we want it to be, since I'm making it, I'm gonna make it be taller than this, so then I don't have to worry about patching where there's that ugly line where it's been painted over the years up to that vent. Or you also could just make your decision like this, right? Like you could go like that. You don't even have to measure. You could just kind of draw your line of what you want to hide. Yeah, so as long as these 2 are the same, so we'll just cut those together actually. We'll just go cut them together on the miter saw. Now the only time that I kind of regret using this scrap piece, I should have cut a different one, is I have to attach that and I have to do pocket holes, and it probably would have been smarter to be able to do a pocket hole right in the middle. I actually might recut this piece. I think I'm gonna go recut this piece because I have enough scrap, then I don't even have to worry about that being in my way. All right, so that was the right decision. When I do the pocket hole, it's gonna be a lot easier for me to do. Now I was gonna paint the frame white and leave this the color, but I'm really liking how this kind of blends with this light tone wood floor, but on the wall, maybe not, we'll see. I'd have to put a clear coat on that, of course. Now, one thing I haven't had to do is do a pocket hole at an angle. All right, so when we attach this together, in hindsight, I maybe would have done this differently just because I'm not really familiar with these pocket holes. I don't have a lot of great clamps here with me, like corner clamps or anything. So hopefully this will do it for us okay. Just winging it, guys. You also could just glue it and clamp it and come back tomorrow if you have clamps with you. This is probably not the best way to do this. At least enough of a grab until that glue sets up, so that'll do. So we at least have the top part. And then now, thank goodness, we're done with angled pocket holes. And we can go ahead and measure our cut for our just straight across cut on here. Okay, you could glue and clamp that. You could pocket hole that, whatever you're more comfortable with. Okay, I'm gonna pick my prettier side because remember this is my back. Meh, they're about the same. I think that side's a little bit prettier. So we'll probably just do pocket holes again because we have this here and it's set for the size of wood that we're working with. Now I think what I'm gonna do in this case, fortunately I have some long clamps in my car. I think instead of worrying about doing that flat clamp and having it my way, I'm gonna clamp straight across here. Okay, look at my front, because really that's what we're most concerned about. And since I'm not using that flat clamp, my face frames might not be where I want them. So, okay, so I have that held there. I am, while I screw, gonna use the face frame clamp because it makes my front and back line up. And obviously we don't wanna have that be all janky. So we'll do that, we'll screw this side and then we'll flip over and we'll do the other side. Okay, now, thank God, I think we're actually done with this pocket hole situation. So here's our frame. I sanded the wood down because I did decide just to leave it raw and seal it. And then I went ahead and cut my wire mesh. This is definitely not the best way to do this. I had these little sheeting cutters. It was all I had on site. I had one of the weird angle ones. And so this was a nightmare. Plan ahead, get a better tin snip than what I used here. I wanted to finish the wood before I attached the meshing so I didn't get any of the poly on the mesh. So I sanded it down really good, all the outside edges, all the inside edges, and then I did like 3 coats of poly on this and let it dry. Once everything was dry, I attached the mesh to the back of the framing with just a little staple gun, and anywhere where I had done a really bad cut on the mesh and it was kind of sticking up, I beat that down with this little mallet just because it's what I had just to flatten it out. If you cut your mesh better than I do, you won't have to do this step. I attached my vent with screws and I countersunk them so I could put wood filler over the holes. You can see in my end video that I need to put one of my screws just a little bit deeper and add a little bit more wood filler, but you could probably also attach it with brad nails.